mums, it's Nikki here from Mouths of Mums. How are you tonight? It's Wednesday night. You're probably like me and you've got kids heading out to sport and all sorts of things. One of our members asked if we could whip up a curried sausages dinner for tonight. So I thought I would. I had a look in the fridge and I had some chicken sausages. I didn't have any rice or any mash, so we've done something, we're going to do something a little bit interesting to see how that goes tonight, just for a little bit of a change. Have a bit of fun. Now I don't know, but if you're like me, I actually love a dinner where I can put almost everything into one place, let it cook while the kids get organised and I get organised for the rest of the night, and then pretty much all we have to do is serve that up. Everybody can take their own scoop and then we can just add either some extra veggies or a little bit more salad. So what I have done is I literally got one packet of chicken sausages. Come on over, Ems. I've got Emma helping me tonight. Thank you very much, Ems. She's taking a 10-minute break from her homework. So what I did was I've already cooked off, or 3/4 cooked, just one packet of chicken sausages. There were 7 or 8 chicken sausages in the packet, and they were 2 for $12. 2 for $12, so that actually makes for quite a reasonable price dinner. So I cooked those off in the fry pan. You could of course do them in the oven, and then I've just sliced them up and put them in the bottom of an oven-proof dish. What I'm going to do now is make a bit of a curry sauce to put over the top of that. But before we do that, I might actually add some veggies. So what I had in the fridge was some cauliflower. This is just 1/4 of a cauliflower. That was left over from something else, but I've literally just chopped that up quite finely. I haven't cooked it at all. It's still perfectly raw, so I've cut it up quite finely so that it will cook through fairly quickly and fairly easily. Now, if you don't like cauliflower, obviously you can add other veggies. You could put anything in here. You could put peas, you could put frozen beans, you could put fresh beans, you could put some parsnips, some radishes, all sorts of things. The other thing I had was, this is just 3 carrots, and again, I've sliced them up quite finely so that they'll cook through. I didn't cook them at all. If you want them a bit chunkier, just cook them off a little bit beforehand, either steam them in the microwave or you could cook them off a little bit in a saucepan. But I am literally going to just stir that all through there. Again, they are completely raw, and all I've done is just cut them very finely so that they cook through quite quickly. Because the sausages are already cooked, it's not actually going to need to be in the oven for that long, which is good for me tonight, because one of the kids needs to eat before he heads off to soccer training tonight. You could also do this in the slow cooker. Obviously not with the topping that we're going to make, but you could actually pop all of these in the slow cooker first thing in the morning and it could bubble away all day. I'm going to add a little bit of capsicum because my kids love that. Now there's no green in there. Probably what I should have done is I should have thrown some frozen peas in there. What I might do is I might add those later, or add those as a side, or I might even steam them and then cool them off and then put them through the salad. So that's all the veggies that I'm going to put in there with those sausages. And what I wanted to show you next is a really quick little curry sauce that you can whip up. Now you can get, what I've got is I had a can of, that's just a roast chicken soup. Any brand will do. Look for the cheapest brand you can, or you might have a favourite brand. So that's just a can of roast chicken soup. Now I'm just going to put that in there. There we go. Make sure that's all out. Yep, that's all nicely out there. Now what I'm going to do is, I literally had some yellow curry. Now if you don't have a yellow curry paste in the fridge, you could still use your normal curry powder. You could pretty much use anything you like. If your family prefers a red curry, you could actually use that. Or you could even do green curry. My kids aren't particularly big on super hot curries, so I tend to go for the yellow curry, which is still that nice curry flavour, but certainly you're not going to get the super spiciness there. So all we'll do here is then give that a good mix. So you can see that that's mixing nicely through that chicken soup. Now that chicken soup, because it's a fairly concentrated soup, it's going to be salty enough on its own, so I'm not going to add any salt and pepper to this dish because I don't want it to get too salty. And then what I'm going to do, because my guys really quite like a creamy sauce in their curried sausages, and I just love the texture, and also I'm quite happy to give everybody a little bit of cream every now and then, because to be honest, 2 of them are going to 2 hours of soccer training tonight, so that little bit of fat isn't going to hurt them. Probably not so good on my hips, but fine for them. So what I've got there is that's about a cup of cream. All right, so I'm just going to pour that through. Now you could have a play here. If you had some sour cream, that would be good too. If you had a little bit of leftover wine, I know that's a bit of a funny thing to say, you could put a little bit of leftover wine, but you can see that that's turning into a beautiful consistency there for that curry sauce. So literally all I'm going to do now, let's go over here, Ems, is I'm just going to pour that through. Now that should be plenty of liquid for those 8 sausages, those 3 carrots, that quarter of a head of cauliflower, and then I literally sliced up half a capsicum, and I sliced that up. So I'll give that a little stir through. I don't like to make it too liquidy, so I hate having those overflows in the oven, those crazy spills. So much to clean up. So you can see that that's mixed through nicely there. Now normally what I would do is cover that with foil and pop that in the oven and cook that for about 45 minutes. But what I'm going to do for something fun tonight is I actually had, give that a bit more of a stir. Make sure that's all the way through all of those veggies and that sausage. What I'm going to do is I had some puff pastry sheets in the freezer. I had 4 pastry sheets left over from something that the kids were doing on the weekend. So what I've actually done, I'll show you here, I actually took an egg ring. We've actually got 2 cutters. I think this one's left over from a pie maker we had years ago, and that one's a little egg ring. So what I've done is I've actually just taken those sheets of puff pastry, here we go, and what I've done is I've gone through and I have cut out some big circles, and then we could fit one little circle in the middle. So what I'm going to do now is kind of create like a nice little scalloped pastry top. Actually, before I do that, obviously I've washed my hands, so it's fine to touch everything here. But what I like to do is keep a little jar like this in the fridge, and if I ever need to grease anything down, I've just got that little bit of grease-proof paper there, or baking paper. I actually quite like to rub just around the top edge of that baking tray, just so that that pastry, and you can kind of keep a clean edge on that baking tray, just so that pastry doesn't all stick, so that when it comes time.
Now it's back on.
Now we're back on. Sorry, I think I might have kids doing homework using up my internet connection. But what you can see here is that we're starting to get a really nice little top on your on our curried sausages. So this is the puff pastry that we've cut into circles. And then it doesn't really matter. You could use squares. You could just put 2 sheets over if you wanted to. I just thought it would be a little bit of fun to have a play by cutting them out. You could use a cookie cutter, you know, with a heart shape. You could do anything really. And you know what? This is actually a really fun thing to do to get the kids involved. If you've got the kids wanting to help out, get them in the kitchen. It's a heap of fun. Here we go. So you can see that I'm overlapping them because I want to get quite a nice thick layer of puff pastry on the top of our curried sausages. Now I know there's a little bit of pastry left over. What we will do is the kids will probably have a bit of fun with that later, and they'll add, they'll put a bit of jam on that and make some little twisties or something like that that's yummy with ice cream. They might do some little Nutella twists or some strawberry jam twists, or get some raspberries and twist that in. But you can see that we're getting a really nice topping here. There we go, we're nearly done. And it looks as though those 4 sheets of pastry is going to be almost perfect. In terms of, that was a pretty good guess, wasn't it? Isn't it funny that when you've been cooking for years for a family, you almost know without measuring how much you're going to need for everything. So there we go, look at that. We've got those there. Just pinch Those in there. Now I haven't actually pressed down too hard on those. I'm just going to let those sit because they'll all puff up beautifully because I've used that puff pastry. There we go. I'm just going to put that last little one there. Now what I like to do when I am using either puff pastry or short crust pastry is I like to make sure that it's going to be nice and golden brown. There's nothing nicer than a beautiful golden brown pastry. Now all I've got in this little jar here is just one egg, the egg yolk and the egg white. All I've done is whip it up with a teaspoon, with a fork, sorry, and I've just got my pastry brush. Now very, very lightly I'm just going to go over that, just like this. Give it a nice little coating. That's going to give it a beautiful golden brown finish. Some people like to use just the egg white, but you know what? I actually think including that egg yolk gives you even more guarantee of a beautiful golden brown. Get it all in the joins there. And one egg is obviously more than enough. Now what I'll do after I finish that is I'll pop a bit of Glad wrap over that egg, and then if the kids do something later on with their pastry, they can use that later on. How are you going there, Ems?
Smells really good.
Does it smell good?
Mm-hmm.
You wait until it comes out of the oven. Okay, so how's that? That's looking good. Now really, you could do whatever you wanted to there. If you wanted to pop some sesame seeds on top of that, or some poppy seeds, or even some chia seeds, that would actually look really nice too. So pretty much because our sausages are cooked, and because those vegetables will cut up beautifully and finely, you're not going to need too long. So pretty much once you put that in the oven, I've got my oven on 175, it's a fan forced oven. So what I'm going to do is keep an eye on that, and pretty much once that pastry is beautiful and golden brown and everything else will be bubbling underneath, I'll know that it's pretty much cooked through. Okay, so that is going to go in the oven. I will take some photos, I'll add it to the post. I'll even put it up on the Mouths of Mums website so that you can click through to the recipe later on. But thank you so much for watching. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. If there is anything that you'd like me to cook that you've always wanted to try but you're not sure how to do it, or something that's a favourite of yours, please let me know. I am happy and I love finding out new things. We don't have curried sausages that much, so the kids are really excited to be having that tonight. But yeah, do let me know. I'm loving doing this, and we just love that you've joined us. Thanks so much. I'll pop this up for you soon. Now we'll take this and we'll pop it in the oven. There we go. Thanks so much, mums. I'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you. Bye-bye.